So gluten is a long, gluey protein. It's in wheat, it's in barley, and it's in rye. And today, I want to give you the 9 reasons why you should not eat this food, because it is extremely harmful to your body. Because gluten is a gluey protein, it's hard to break down. Have you ever seen the guy in the bakery and he's, rolling out the dough? You see the dough. It's hard to tear. How are you going to digest something that's hard to tear? Most human beings, even if they don't have celiac, do not have a well enough digestive system and microbiome to break down this gluey protein. One of the reasons that we're not able to break down gluten or other foods is because we don't have enough stomach acid. You got to have hydrochloric acid in there in order to break down protein in other foods. And a lot of us just don't. In fact, we test people when we do our discovery analysis. We check their levels, and most people are low. And that's a root cause for many, many symptoms. Okay? In order to get good hydrochloric acid, you need calcium and salt. They combine together and create that hydrochloric acid. When you don't have enough stomach acid, a lot of people end up fermenting the food and shooting it back up. And this is what they call heartburn or GERD. Okay? Acid reflux. Well, if you have low stomach acid, you're going to have trouble breaking down a lot of foods, never mind just gluten. Once this gluey substance comes down into the small intestine, it's going to cake up the villi. The villi is where we absorb our nutrients. They're like shaggy little rugs. But that gluten is just going to be a blocker. So here's your nutrients, and they're just not getting where they need to go. They're not getting into the bloodstream. This is a root cause to nutritional deficiency. And it's one of the reasons why we take all clients off of gluten immediately. Another reason why it's so hard to break down gluten is so many people are walking around with soft tissue deficiencies. You know, I talk about it all the time. You hear me say soft tissue all the time. If that soft tissue deficiency happens in the pancreas or the liver, you're going to not have certain enzymes that you need to break down certain foods, especially something that's gluey and hard to tear, like gluten. Depleted soil would be another reason. Because there's a lack of minerals in our food, okay? Our food was healthier 200 years ago, but it's not anymore due to corporate farming, due to electricity, because they dam the rivers, and we don't use wood ash anymore. There's a lot of minerals in wood. So now we're eating depleted, minerally deficient foods, and because we're minerally deficient, our body malfunctions and it doesn't work correctly. And now we can't break down something that's as complicated as gluten. Another reason is we don't mingle with animals anymore. Now there's something you don't think about every day. Your ancestors were around animals. They were around sheep and horses and pigs and cattle. Now we're secluded in houses and we're at desks and we're in offices and we're not getting bacteria from animals, which strengthens the immune system, strengthens the microbiome. And that's a big reason why we can't break something down like gluten anymore, whereas maybe we could have 2,000 years ago. Here in America, wheat is sprayed with pesticides. It's very big business, so they want to keep the bugs off of it. And these chemicals are not good for our bodies. Now, in Europe, they don't spray the wheat. So if you go to Europe and have some gluten pasta, it might sit better with you than here in America. Nowadays, the wheat is GMO'd. It's genetically modified. They call it dwarf wheat. Wheat used to be tall. Now you look at pictures of the crops and the wheat aren't that big. They call them dwarf wheat. And so they do this so that they can produce more of it. Think about all the products that have wheat in it. Just walk down the junk food aisle at the grocery store or stop at a convenience store and you'll see wheat, 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 wheat. It's all over the place. It's a big part of junk food. Plus pasta and bread, etc. So they have to genetically modify it so that they can produce it at high levels. And of course, they use starvation as the excuse. We don't want people to go hungry. We got to produce it at high levels. That's the excuse. And the 9th reason why gluten is harmful. It can spread. Nobody thinks about this. Gluten absolutely can contaminate. If you go to a restaurant, even if you get a meal that is gluten-free, there's still a little bit of gluten in there because the chef is back there cooking and, he's got bread and pasta, 5 feet away. So if you have celiac, definitely shouldn't eat at restaurants. But if you're trying to stay away from gluten, it's best to make your food at home. Gluten has been around for centuries, and it's one of the reasons why we're even here today. In order for humans to evolve, we needed wheat, right? There's only so much fruits, vegetables, meat, and eggs to go around, especially in medieval times and whatnot. We needed wheat to expand human population. But we, as humans, have gotten unhealthier. We have weaker microbiomes than we did 2,000 years ago. There's an illusion that we're healthier because we live longer. But that's because of plumbing and emergency departments and antibiotics and things like this. We definitely ate healthier 2,000 years ago, and our stomachs, our digestive systems were much stronger 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 years ago than they are now. Therefore, gluten is just a hard food for us to digest right now in modern times. And so we take clients off of it. It's part of the Poor 4 foods that I mentioned in my book, Peace Over Pain. And we see tremendous healing by people getting off of gluten and the other 3 foods. So I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.